What's going on, guys? Welcome to the 6 Yard Workshop, where I show you how I wired a dedicated 20 amp circuit for this treadmill right here, because this 15 amp kept blowing, and after doing some research, you're supposed to have a 20 amp dedicated. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. So first I moved the treadmill backwards to figure out where I wanted to put the new socket, which was pretty easy since it's on wheels. With the treadmill out of the way, I took out my tape measure and measured 3 feet from the corner. What I'm going to try and do is drill a hole through each floor at the 3-foot mark, hoping that everything lines up perfectly and I can fish the wire through no problem. I traced the outlet box onto the wall, then used my brand new oscillating saw to cut that outline. I ended up cutting it a little bit too small, so I just went back and cut out another 1/2 inch from the top. With that, I moved down a floor to drill some holes. First, I measured 3 feet from the wall and made a mark. I used a 5/8 spade bit to drill through the double top plate of the wall. Then I came back with an extra long 1/2 inch bit, put it through the first hole, and then used it to drill the hole through the flooring on the second floor. Using the same drill bit, I measured 3 feet up from the wall and drilled another hole into the bottom plate of the wall. Since I'm wiring up a 20 amp circuit, I'm using 12 gauge wire. After unwrapping it, I fed it up through the hole to the main floor from the basement. Before going upstairs, I took a bunch of wire off the spool to make sure I had enough to pull it all the way up to the second floor. I pulled about 12 feet of wire up onto the main floor, which I figured would be enough to get it all the way to the second floor, and then passed the end through the hole in the double top plate as well as the hole in the second floor. I shoved about 8 inches of wire into the hole. This gave me a good chance to be able to fish it out through the outlet hole with all that insulation in the way. It took a bit of patience and persistence, but I managed to fish the wire out. The measuring 3 foot away from the wall method actually worked. The wire was just to the left of the outlet box I had cut out at the beginning. I pried off one of the tabs of the electrical box and fed the wire through, then used the clamp that was inside the box to clamp the wire down tightly and securely. This worked well, but in hindsight I should have stripped the wire before putting it into the box. This would have made my life a lot easier, which you'll see shortly. Then I placed the outlet box in the hole and screwed it to the baseboard. At this point, I should have checked for a level, and I didn't, and you'll see in the final shots that it's a little bit crooked. From there, I went down to the basement and ran the rest of the wire over to the electrical panel along the floor joists. Now, I'm not going to cover exactly what I did inside the electrical panel. I have an electrical background and I'm comfortable and confident in what I was doing. However, I strongly recommend you use an electrician to make sure everything is done safely. I do recommend picking up a voltage indicator from Home Depot. They're about $20 and they show you if there's any voltage present on the wire. To go over the major points, I did all my prep work ahead of time, i.e. stripping the wire and running it into the box, to minimize the amount of time I'd have to spend with power shut off to the house. Once everything was installed, I left the breaker off and made sure there was no voltage present on the line, then went back upstairs to wire the outlet. Wiring the outlet's pretty simple. You put the ground on the ground point, and then you put the neutral wire on one side and the hot wire on the other side. Also, if you're wiring a 20 amp circuit, make sure your outlet is rated for 20 amps. And it's rated specifically for 20 amps. For $30, you can get a voltage tester along with an outlet tester. The outlet tester is handy because it tells you if your outlet's wired correctly, and if it's not, it tells you what's wrong. And unfortunately, the red light on top and the orange light in the middle lit up. That means that I wired the neutral and the hot backwards. So, I flipped the breaker off, switched the wires around, put the tester back in, and flipped the breaker back on. And judging by my fiance's cheers, we got it right.
Woo! Yeah! You did it!
Just finished my 10K in 30 minutes, no big deal. Thanks for watching the video, and we'll see you next time.
You get electricians what to do to help you.
CPR and call 911. Like,
I'm gonna put your phone right here.
yeah. But CPR is like, that's the chest compressions,
Yeah.
breathing, airway,
Like,
ABCs. Yeah.
Staying alive, staying alive.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Cindy's fiance, and I am a ball of anxious.
Should we put you on camera?
Nope.